And so it is. All right, welcome to Prop Driller 9000 review. I thought about this a little bit this morning. I thought this might be interesting for you. I've never seen this lab before. I kind of vaguely know what it's about. I think Jared made it while he was teaching here, but I've never done it before. So I'll show you how I would approach a problem like this. Sound good? Cool. All right, so I've got it cloned down. First thing I want to do is I got to package JSON, so I got to npm install. Should have done this with tmux. Actually, I'm going to do that. Oop. Never mind, it's going fast. There we go. All right, so I've got my dependencies installed. Now I'm going to fire it up. Cool, very nice. So first thing I'm going to do is look at the README. All right, in this exercise, you will get some reps in assigning values to state in the app component and passing those values down to child components as props. Cool, I know how to do that. We will need to be proficient at this as it's a major part of React. You're telling me. The Proptobots are here to help the inhabitants of Earth. Their communication system is down. In the event of an emergency, you will need to sound the alarm and call for help. Okay, so one of the things that I'll do is start making some notes for myself. So I got Proptobots help. In response to clicking on the call for help image, clicking on the call for help image should always be displayed the first Proptobot, Proptimus Omega, should display, along with the associated console log, catchphrase, and inquiry from the AI that inhabits call for help. So Proptimus Omega should display console log, catchphrase, and inquiry from AI. Okay, so like that's what I yanked out of this paragraph. Might be wrong, who knows? All right, if Proptimus Omega is not up to the task at hand, clicking on the image will sound the alarm again, bringing in Proptimus Beta. Okay, so I don't know what not up to the task means. I guess I'll find out. If Proptimus Omega, let's see, if not Proptimus Omega, clicking his image sounds alarm, brings in Proptimus Beta. Proptimus Omega should go away. Should have Proptimus Beta's catchphrase, console log, and inquiry. And then there's a give me all you got calls Proptimus prime. Okay. And it says Proptimus beta should disappear. Catchphrase console.log and commentary from call for help. When the conflict has resolved itself, let's see, clicking on Proptimus prime dismisses him with a speech. There we go. Once you have Proptimus Omega rendering, you shouldn't have any further issues getting Proptibots to display. All functions are already defined for you. The images are already in state, but their catchphrases need to be added. Need to add catchphrases. Both of these need to be passed as props to child components. Need to pass catchphrases and images as props. The GIF walkthrough in a larger video. And then this looks like all the CRA stuff. Yep, cool. So here's the thing, you're gonna get, this is exactly what like a code challenge for a job looks like. Identical. They're exactly like this. A lot of them have kind of goofy narratives around them. Part of what they're testing there is like, all right, there's a lot of noise in these instructions. Can you pull out the meaningful bits from the noise? So it's a good thing to practice. All right, so that says they have a GIF and a video. And download the video. Let's take a look at it. All right, so we click on a buddy. All right. Okay, I think I got it. So first thing that I need to do is get all these errors to go away. I'm gonna throw open the console too, because there might be some more in there. Yep. All right, so this is an app.js line 39. All right, that's the first thing that's messed up. So this image, I want to see if I can just get the error to go away. So if I do something like this.state Proptimus photos, and then the first one is Proptimus Omega, I think. Yeah. No, call for help. That's it. Ah, cool. I got it. So I'm going to bind the source to this.state.call for help. This.state.call for help. Cool. Proptimus is not defined. All right. So that's a component. What other components do I have in here? All right. Proptimus Omega is in source. So I'm going to import him. Import Proptimus Omega from Proptimus omega, because I think it was lowercase. Defined but never used. What? Oh, is it just Proptimus? Specify your Proptobot here. You'll need to pass all of your props to this component here. I don't know if this is exactly how this is supposed to work, but I'm going to try that first. Does that make something show up? All right, and then in this, see, where's that error? That's in Proptimus omega line 15. All right, identify your image source from props here. Okay, so I'm getting some props and I need to pass them into this source. So let's say this is Proptimus omega. I have Proptimus omega's photo here in state. So I would probably do something like, it's called image. Doesn't tell me what to call it, cool. I'll say image, this dot state dot, what do they call them? Proptimus photos, copy that. And this was Proptimus prime, like that. Okay, so now I'm passing in an image as a prop. And then this becomes, this is a class, yeah. This dot props dot image. Hey, I got something showing up. Dope. So now that my errors have gone away, I'm gonna look a little bit more critically at this. Okay, you'll need to pass all of your props to this component here. And this thing in the code is saying which Proptobot should be checked for. Okay. So this pattern, every time you see this is actually going to go away in JavaScript kind of soon. You still need to do it now. But if you've heard of anything about null coalescing or like prop chaining in JavaScript, this pattern, if you do this.state.activeProp, but you don't have a this.state, it goes, oh, cool, there's no function called activeProp on undefined. So you need to check that the thing exists first, and then check that it has the child that you want. So you can imagine if it's got 4 or 5, 6 children, you have to keep doing this for each one. It sucks. So they're about to add a thing to JavaScript that'll fix that. This whole thing is in this expression. This is that Boolean logic stuff that we talked about yesterday a little bit. Assuming that that's a thing, and then if both of those are true, then you should render this fragment. Oh my God, Miles. Quieter, buddy. So if that means if there is an active prop, this Proptimus omega. Okay, I see. So then we click on this image, and then that should set like an active prop. I get it. Cool. So let me look at the instructions again. Clicking on the call for help image, which should always be displayed, Proptimus omega should display, and his console log, catchphrase, and inquiry from the AI. All right, so I'm going to need a click handler on the call for help. So we'll say on click, and I'll say, do I have a method for this? call for bad help. Okay, so there's a method on here called this dot call for help. All right, and I want to like sanity check myself. Oops, call for bad help. I want to sanity check myself that I'm actually getting here. All right. Hey, cool. That worked. So the thing that we're trying to do is make Proptimus Omega show up. Which means that active prop needs to be set. So and that's supposed to be in state. Oop, that should be initialized. Jared, who raised you? Oh no, it was me. All right, so there should be a state thing called active prop. Always, always, always initialize your props. So this is probably going to be something like this dot set state active prop is Proptimus Omega. All right, so when I click on that image, call for bad help is called, and it sets the state to Proptimus Omega. Now that active state has something, then this should show up. So this would be Proptimus Omega. So that one should be Proptimus Omega 2. Cool. Let's see if that works. Hey, cool. So that's what it's supposed to do. It's also, if we look back at the instructions, so he shows up now as console log, catchphrase, and inquiry from AI should both show up. I wonder if that's in his component. This.props.image, this.props.catchphrase, okay? So catchphrase, was it Camel? Yep. So I'm gonna say catchphrase. Oh, and those need to be added. I think that was in the instructions too. Need to add catchphrases and pass the images as props. Cool. Where should I put these? Okay, so what I'm thinking is it probably belongs on like the individual component, but it says it's being passed in as a prop. Weird. Okay, so if it has to be a prop, then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna hard code it for right now. So catchphrase is, and do they give us specific catchphrases?
Only if you like pull them out of the video demonstration.
Okay. I am Proptimus Omega. All right. Cool. So his shit showed up. There's also supposed to be a console log, I think. Clicking on the call for help image should make Proptimus Omega display. And let's take a look at this console log thing. Responsively on the call for help image, first Proptobot should display along with the associated console log, catchphrase, and inquiry from AI that inhabits call for help. Okay, so it should be something about the call for help. I'll bet it's this. I'll bet it's just a log in here. So we say something like Optimus Omega is on the way. All right, so now I got a log. I got the picture showing up. I got the catchphrase showing up. If I look back at my instructions, cool. That looks like that works. And so we're on to that, and then that, and we did this. So I think we're on the right track. I'm going to sanity check myself again by looking at that video. Cool. All right, I think we did the first part of that right. So I'm going to pause there. Ask me some questions about what you've seen so far.
What was that part about the active prop?
So here's what I got that out of. This logic, which might make more sense if we indent it more, is saying, all right, if there's state and that state has a truthy value, or no, if it has an active prop that's equal to Proptimus Omega, if both of those things are true, then this thing will render. And so that means we need to get active prop to be equal to that somehow. So what we did was on this on-click handler for call for bad help, we set that state there. Once that state changes, this logic reevaluates. And since the second one is true now, then it ends up rendering this guy.
And you said setting active prop is like always something you do?
No, that's the thing that Jared made up.
Oh, okay.
This was just part of the puzzle we were given.
What does the second double ampersand do on that line?
So imagine that like this logic was just like this. JavaScript's going to evaluate this first one, and if that's true, then it starts taking a look at the rest of it. And if that's true, it starts taking a look at the rest of it. So this doesn't do anything, but it shows us what the flow looks like. If that's true, then it takes a look at this next one. If that's not also true, it doesn't even bother taking a look at the rest of it. So if this were some JSX element, it's going to go, cool. If that's true, is this also true? It's not. So this will never render. But if it were like that, all right, is that true? It is. All right, this is worth looking at. Cool. So I'm going to make this show up on the page. That's a JSX thing.
So it's a flow version of conditionals.
Exactly. It's a flow version of conditionals. And so if we didn't hard code true, but instead said things that like could be truthy or falsy, now we're getting like the conditional logic. Because remember, I remember our mega long vocab word from Mod 3 about how like this and that are essentially the exact same thing. Isn't the functional programming lesson?
Referential transparency.
There we go. So referential transparency says, all right, well, if that's true, and this thing is true, Well, then I can swap them out interchangeably for these expressions. So that means that this and this are basically the same thing. That's how that logic works. Questions?
So with ORs,
Mhm.
like doing this with ORs, if you had 3 OR statements, whichever one, and one of them evaluated to be true, then it would resolve to be whichever one was true. Okay.
Exactly. Well, no, it would just keep going. So if these become ORs are looking for anything that's true, and then they'll keep going. So they don't short circuit like the ands do. So if I say false, the OR goes, yeah, better luck next time. What about this one? All right, might still have something left. And then like, if we were actually doing this, then it would go, oh shit, then cool. This will always render. There's nothing that can make it not render because the JSX thing is truthy, so it ends up showing up on the page. Now, if we did this is where this gets interesting. Now, nope, ergo, womp womp. That doesn't show up. But that does. This kind of Boolean logic is counterintuitive. It takes some practice. It's very much like doing math homework. Worth spending some time on. Even if you don't necessarily go that deep with it during the program, that should be in your practice regimen somewhere. There's really not that much to it. Like it'll take you a week to get really good at Boolean logic problems, but worth some effort. Other questions? All right, onward. So the next thing that we want to do, clicking on the Proptimus Omega image should bring in Proptimus Beta. Proptimus Omega should go away and should have Proptimus Beta's catchphrase, console log, and inquiry. All right. So now I'm looking at this. Oh man, there's a couple of different ways you could do this. So one is like this call for better help. We're expecting that as a prop. We're not giving it right now. So we might say something like, call for better help. And then we actually have a method for that. This dot call for better help. So if I pass that in, let's sanity check ourselves. Oh, I see why Jared did it this way. He's trying to get you guys to fucking log more. That's beautiful. I'd say Proptimus Beta is on the way. All right, so I should be able to make Proptimus Omega show up, and if I click on them, I should see this get logged. Cool. Cool. All right, we're on the right track. So now, oh, I get how this works. So Now we probably want to set the active state to Proptimus beta. And I believe this is called Prop Driller 9000 because I'm supposed to do this inside Proptimus Omega. So what I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I got it now. So I passed the photo and shit down like this. I'm getting it. And this escalate. So what this is going to do is this gives us a conditional that we can like not render this thing if we don't want to. So I could do something like wrap all of this and say something like this dot state dot escalate and then I'm going to do this as if the state isn't escalated, then make that show up. Now, one of the other things that we're going to need to do, oh, this is brilliant. So we need to change this state when this image gets clicked on. Well, wait a minute. When we're doing the on click, we're already doing that call for better help thing. How do I do both?
Can you do a second on-click handler?
You can't. That's a good instinct, though.
Can you put an and at the end of call for better help and put a second function inside of that JSX?
No, because that's Boolean logic. And so that's going to resolve to something like true or false. And what onClick is looking for is a function definition. So what if we just make a second function that wraps the behavior that we want? Takes in an event. Okay, and so then what we want it to do is do a set state. That does something like that. And then does something like that. And now cool. Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in a, all right, so I can put it in a fragment. Cool. So now what I would expect to happen is when I click on my Proptimus Omega, it escalates, which triggers this logic and makes this shit go away. And then calls the call for better help. Let's see if it works. Good so far. It made him go away. Cool. It's a good step. So we want him to go away, and we want Proptimus Beta to show up. Is there another component for that? Or do I have to make the component all on my own? All right, so I'm gonna copy Proptimus Omega. Ooh, you know what? We could refactor this to all be the same one though. I wonder if that's what he wanted us to do. Nope, I'm gonna make a separate component for right now. So I'm gonna say touch Proptimus Beta .js. I'm going to import that over here. All right, so I've got that component now. So what I really want is like, if this state is escalated, if it stays not escalated, then I want like that stuff to show up. Otherwise, I want Promptimus Beta to show up. So that's an if else. How do I handle if else's in React?
Ternary statements.
Ternaries, beautiful. So that becomes something more like this. If we're escalated, then I want you to do Promptimus Beta and then pass all the stuff in. Otherwise, I want you to do this one. And so that means I'm going to need to pass some stuff into Promptimus Beta. So let's see if we can get the picture to show up first. Let's start by building out this component. I'll just copy the Omega one. Nope. Change the class name. Cool. I'll comment that out for now. I think this logic's probably going to be roughly the same. We just don't have that component yet. So I'm going to say null. If you ever want something to just not show up, you have to give it null. You can't give it like an empty string or something like that. Okay, so this gets an image and also has this handle click and also has a catchphrase. Cool. So I'm going to say catchphrase maybe something like that. And then I need his image, which is way up here in app. So that's in Promptimus Photos, Promptimus Beta. Part of me doesn't like this, but I can just pass the entire this entire object down. So I could say something like images. And if those images, they come into here, so I have those as props. And if I give those, just pass them, drill them right on down to Promptimus Beta. Now Promptimus Beta has all of those images. So I can say this.props.images. You figure out your own fucking one. All right, so now I have this. I could do something like this.props.images. Promptimus Beta. And that, how about that works? Let's see if it does. All right, so Omega shows up. I should click him. He should go away. I should get the new picture, new catchphrase. Oop, not so much. Fair enough.
Your escalate is still set to true.
Set to true where?
Oh, I was reading your handle click. My bad.
Yeah. So, all right, so to debug this, I want to see, did I get here at all? So we can do that just here in the constructor. Tell your therapist I tried. There's Propimus Omega. Nope, doesn't look like it. Make it to the render. Doesn't look like it. All right.
Is it because of the active prop?
Maybe. I kind of don't think so, though. Oh, yep. Yeah, so let's do something like that. Good call. All right. So we got the beta one showing up. Oh, I know how this is supposed to work now. By the way, this like gradual realization of like code challenges, that's pretty like by the numbers also. That happens when you're doing these for jobs. So I think what Jared had in mind with this is that active prop, you do pass down all the images and you keep drilling down the active prop too. So that would be something like this dot state dot active prop. And then the like, this guy that's showing up is actually images, and we're getting this dot props dot active prop out of it. That's what he meant. So we changed some code. You shouldn't need that one anymore. Let's see if it still works. Hey, cool. Doing all right so far. And I'm also going to need to drill that exact same thing here. So this will be something like active prop is this dot props dot active prop. Cool. So now Propimus beta should have all that stuff too. And now I don't have to hard code that. That becomes this dot props dot active prop. Cool. Still works. And now we've kind of gotten the shape of this. So this last one should be even easier. All right, so when I click on Propimus beta, it should escalate again, and it should call for better help. So that means that needs to be a prop. Call for better help. This dot props dot call for better help. Cool. That means this one needs to have a prop called call for better help. And it does. Oh wait, no, this one's supposed to be like call for best help or something, right? Give me all you got. All right. So that means this guy also needs give me all you got. Oh, here. Give me all you got. This dot, give me all you got. So give me all you got was defined on this app.js component that I'm in. I'm passing it into Propimus Omega. Over in Propimus Omega, it's a prop. Give me all you got. So that's coming into Propimus beta. Now, give me all you got. So give me all you got over in app.js should be something like Propimus prime is on the way. And then it should set the active prop. Like that. Okay. So, works. Works. All right, Proptimus Prime is on the way. So now we need a component for Proptimus Prime. It's gonna work the same way. I'm gonna copy everything from Proptimus Beta. Cool, cool. And then on this one, if I remember correctly from the instructions, clicking on Proptimus Prime dismisses him with a speech. So I think that's a send them home is the name of that event. So this will be send them home. And this one doesn't need an escalate, which also means it doesn't need to be a class. So let's turn it into a class component real quick. That means this is in a function body now, so we need to do it a little bit different. That doesn't happen. Cool. This isn't in a render method anymore. This is just the return value of the function. And then this is going to be, we don't need any of this logic, I don't think. Oh no, we already have a wrapper. All right, so I get to see Proptimus Prime here. When I click, it goes up here. It's not this, there is no this. So it's just gonna be like yay. Cool. So now I gotta make this work. So there's my Proptimus Prime component. Over in Proptimus Beta, I'm gonna import it. And then that's where this is gonna go. Proptimus Prime and gets a catchphrase. And he needs a, send him home, yeah. Send them home should be this.props.send them home, which means I need to send them home. So I'm getting called from Omega, means I have a send them home, comes from my props. Cool, and so I got rendered over here. Send them home. This.send them home. So this is gonna have a console log. Okay, do I have everything that I need? Since I'm not doing anything else in this handle click anymore, I actually don't even need that. I can just do props.send them home. Wants a function definition? That's a function definition. It has, it needs the images and the active prop. Was I given the images and the active prop? Images, active prop, cool. That might be everything except the dismissal. And I'll bet that dismissal would just set the active prop back to an empty string. We'll do that. All right. Omega, beta, console logs are working. Prime, dismissed. So now, this is the part that everybody fucks up in code challenges, by the way. So make sure you get this right. So I think it works. It's been a long time since I've like read these instructions though. So how about I go back and look at the video again. Where is it? No, where'd it go? There we go. Why is it? Come on, guys. Download it again then. There we go. I don't know why God doesn't want me to see this video, but
The GIF is just play in the browser.
there we go. All right, so Omega shows up. Any day now. There we go. Bad help has arrived. Better help has arrived. Oh, see, this is the thing I'm noticing. The like image, that thing's changing too, where it's saying like, are you sure this situation warrants this? I didn't do that. Okay. Is that the end of it? Let's see, can I download this one? Oh my God, Jared, this is the longest video ever. Okay, so I want to have that like that thing on the catchphrase, like that's supposed to change. Here it is. This will this do human? He was changing that. So I know we're out of time, but what I would do is probably have like another thing in state here that's probably works exactly the same as Proximus photos, where it's like catchphrases or something like that. I want to go back over the instructions. In the exercise, you'll get some reps in assigning values. Okay. Help the inhabitants of Earth sound the alarm. Good. We did that. Good. 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 Okay, so I would call this complete. What questions do you have?
Do the instructions say anywhere to change that thing to? Remember the thing you said that just changed?
Yeah, I don't see that anywhere in the instructions. So maybe that was like from an earlier version of it, or Jared was just showing off. But
So if we're confronted with that, they show you something in a video, but they don't put it in the instructions. What do you
Oh, yeah.
follow? The instructions?
ask.
Ask.
Yeah, right back. It's like, hey, by the way, I noticed this difference between these two things. Because, like, you get points for that, man. Fuck, for all I know, that was maybe part of the assessment. But, like, at a minimum, you go like, oh, man, this guy has his shit together more than we do. But that's a good place to be in. But, yeah, like, we could also do it this way. We could have some instructions that initialize to, will this do, human? And we make those this.state.instructions. And then we can update that with each of these, where it's like set state. It also set state for instructions. Like that. Or no. And then this might be all right. So now I'll bet we can get those to change. Yeah, see? Something like that. Cool. Other questions?
Is this pretty similar to like the code challenge for Mod 4?
No, not at all. This is way harder than the Mod 4 Code Challenge. Way, way, way harder. But I would say this is pretty representative of a lot of code challenges for jobs.
Cool. Thank you.
What else? Cool. Enjoy our next lesson.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.